Good morning, everyone, from Dhammadharini Monastery, and welcome to our special program, Ringing in the New Year with the Arahants. This is our usual morning meditation time, but also with a special dedication today. So I'm going to introduce that. Start with just a brief chanting. Might be familiar for some of you. Puja cha pujaniyanang etang mangalamuttamang. That means honoring those worthy of honor. This is the highest blessing. So those of you who have been joining us this month have perhaps joined for some of our Sanghamita Theri programs. A couple weeks ago, we celebrated Sanghamita Day. This was the lunar anniversary of the great Arahant Bhikkhuni, Sanghamita, arriving in Sri Lanka with the southern branch sapling of the Bodhi tree. And all this month, we've been sort of following her journey from India. So 2 weeks ago, she arrived in Sri Lanka. Last week, she arrived in Anuradhapura, the sacred city in Sri Lanka, and planted the Bodhi tree. And now at this new moon, we are celebrating the lunar anniversary of the ordination and arahatship of Anula Tissa Theri. So she was known previously as Queen Anula Devi, and she is the reason that Sanghamita Theri made this great journey to Sri Lanka. She went at the request of Queen Anula. And so when we tell the story, often we don't focus on this part. We focus on the tree and the arrival of Sanghamita, but the tree is only a symbolic of putting down roots in Sri Lanka. But the truth of putting down roots there is that Queen Anula had the opportunity to go forth as a bhikkhuni, and more than that, that she became an arahant. Both apparently at this same time. And that's really the establishment of the Buddhasasana, the Buddhist religion practice in Sri Lanka, is when the Sri Lankan people, the people there began to wake up, starting with Anula. After her ordination, she became known as Anula Tissa Theri, and that's the way that we remember her today as Arahat. Anula Tissa Theri. The reason that we're offering this as a special program this year, we haven't done this, a special program for Anula in previous years. It's because, a lot of people have learned in school that Sanghamita was actually the last bhikkhuni. A lot of people don't know about the lineage of bhikkhuni arahants who followed after her. That she helps to establish. And for Anula, a lot of people don't even know that she was an arahanta. Even for Sanghamita, they don't necessarily know she was an arahanta. They just know her as a great bhikkhuni who came and did a diplomatic mission, but that she woke up. Often people will talk about her brother, Mahinda Thero, as Arahat Mahinda, but then she's just Bhikkhuni Sanghamita or Sanghamita Theri. We don't call her Arahat Sanghamita always. So this is how the Bhikkhuni Arahantas get disappeared. But this year, actually, it's starting to change. There's been a lot of new attention to Anula Theri, Arahat Anula, with the reopening of the stupa, the memorial stupa for her, has been excavated, and many new happenings with that, which we'll be talking about in the next few days. I won't get into all of that right now. But things are moving, and we don't want her to disappear from the story anymore. We want to know that she was there. It wasn't all about King Ashoka and King Devanampiya Tissa in Sri Lanka and their diplomatic relations. It was about the request from one awakened woman to another to come. Anula Devi's entering the Arahant path, her own request. This is the reason why all of this was set into motion. And so today is honoring the establishment of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, Arahat Bhikkhuni Sangha in Sri Lanka. It's also actually the anniversary of the arahatship of one of the bhikkhus. The Prime Minister Arita became a bhikkhu, and also with a number of arahats. Right, so Queen Anula, it was not only her who ordained, it was also 1,000 women, and all of them became arahants. And it was not only the Prime Minister Arita who ordained, also with him, there was a large number of Sri Lankan bhikkhus who ordained and became arahats. So what a strong putting down of roots in Sri Lanka. And so this program today is intended as Patipati Puja. Patipati means practice, puja means honoring. And there's a strong tradition of honoring those who have come before us. Like the verse I chanted, honoring those worthy of honor is a great blessing. And there's many ways of honor. If you read the Theri or Thera Apadana, the past life stories of many of the great Arahants, it says how many eons ago they gave a flower to a previous Buddha, something like this. And the merit of that then is what propelled them many eons later to their own arahatship. So even just giving a flower with a pure heart, with a great dedication towards the arahat path is powerful. We also know, though, that the Blessed One himself, the Buddha, at the time of his passing away, he said that the best way to honor a Buddha is not with flowers, but the way to honor the Buddha, the way to respect, venerate, esteem, and worship the Buddha in the highest degree is when somebody abides by the Dhamma, lives uprightly in the Dhamma, walks in the way of the Dhamma. This is the way that we honor the Buddha. This is the way we honor the Tathagata. This is the way that we honor the Arahats who have come before us, by following their example with the dedication that we too can walk that path. So the idea of our program today is a dual dedication of our practice as our gift, as our offering to those worthy of honor who have gone before. So we dedicate our practice, our meditation practice this morning, which Ayya Brahmavara will lead us in. As we practice, we can think about sharing the merits of this, dedicating ourselves through this, to this path. So dedicating both to the great Arahantas of the past, including Arahat Sangamita, Arahat Anula, Arahat Mahinda, Arahat Arita, all of them. But also to the re-arising of Bhikkhuni Arahantas in the present and future, as we water and nurture our own seeds of Bodhi, that they bear fruit. As we have seen renowned bhikkhus in 20th and 21st century Theravada Buddhism, widely believed to be Arahantas, we dedicate ourselves that we may also see at least a few such bhikkhunis emerging. So we invite you to join us in making your own resolve to awakening, to doing the work of this path, however long short that may be, to its happy conclusion. So both these things, dedicating to those of the past with the intention that this is part of our own path and practice towards the future. And with that introduction, I'd like to invite Ayya Brahmavara to lead us in a meditation on the subject of arahatship.
Thank you so much, dear Ayya, this beautiful introduction and beautiful thank you so much for this beautiful dedication also. Very special day, and it is so uplifting to learn and to appreciate the history in a more full and complete way, celebrating the fourfold Sangha. So with this dedication in our hearts, we can now open ourselves to meditation practice together. So please be comfortable, friends. A few nice deep breaths to begin, often helpful to encourage the attention to come into the body. Breathing deep, feeling the movement of the breath, in the throat, the chest, and in the belly. Allow the attention to come in, to come home, to come to this temple that we inhabit. And we'll make our puja here in the temple through our mindfulness practice. And one thing for sure, it's very difficult to meditate if the heart is not feeling happy, even to a small extent, not feeling bright. And so I'm very grateful today for this beautiful beginning. We can take inspiration, feel the good news. So much of the news we receive is not great. This is very, very good news for us. And it's not hidden back in the recesses of the past. It is now. So just bringing the attention to the heart area, friends, and see how it is. When we bring our attention to the center of the body, we can really touch into how it feels. What is the mood? What is the state of mind? Is there well-being here or not? Reflecting on these words, we may feel a sense of brightness and a sense of uplift. On the other hand, we may have come along today with things weighing on our minds, on our hearts, just to see what's here for you right now. Bring the presence to bear. How is it? How am I? Allow the attention to encompass the breath as it moves through the center of the body, the heart area. Beautiful rhythm of the breath. The life energy. Expansive as we inhale. Energizing. And letting go as we exhale. Just the natural rhythm of the breath. It takes us, it keeps our attention because it's always moving and changing. And so gradually we can begin to settle the sitting posture, or whatever posture you're in. Let it be still. Allow the body to relax. And we're bringing the attention in to bear, focusing. Giving our minds a chance to also relax. Owning the attention, focusing the attention gently, gradually, easefully, to notice the breath here in the center of the body, in the heart area. How is it? In this way, we are allowing peace and or allowing the way it is to be noticed, how it is to be felt, to be seen, giving attention. Love is attention. Compassion is this kindness of attention, this willingness to be here. It is the way. So simple, so unassuming, so invisible. Let's develop our mindfulness. How is it now? As we settle, we start to notice more subtlety here. Gentlest touch of the breath, the slightest movement in the body, the feelings can begin to disentangle and reveal how it is. Layers upon layers of experience can open up. And all we have to do, friends, is be present. Feel what you feel. No judgment, no opinion, no need to name or label this experience. It is what it is. And so we get to dive deep into the Dharma. Let go of the rational mind, the thinking mind, with all its complexity and all its delusion. Feel out how it is right now. Nameless. Indefinable. This. And just as the breath is flowing, ever changing, we can notice how this experience is moving and shifting and transforming. It's flowing too. And if there's anything that feels very solid here, lasting, defining, let's dive a little deeper into that experience. Divide it and dissect it. Find its movement, its flow. It's there. We start to recognize that nothing stays the same even for a moment. Notice the change. Develop the anicca sanya, perception of change, of impermanence. Here and now, right here, in the center of the body, in the breath. And anywhere else the mind might move. Kind attention, friends. A gentle gaze. A loving regard here. How is it now? So we can start to observe how the mind is. We may be very focused, resting right here in the center of the body, watching the breath. Still, settled, easeful, wonderful. We may find the mind moves to its more customary way of practicing in meditation. Wonderful. Or we may notice distraction, lots of thinking, restlessness, sleepiness, some hindrance or other may be present. Wonderful. This is our time to work with any obstacles that arise. Apply the remedies kindly. If there's any desire, wanting, craving, longing arising for us, bring up the perception of change, anicca. Let's see how long it lasts, this feeling. Whatever it is we are desiring, where will that be in 50 years' time. Any ill will, irritability, frustration, hatred. Let's bring in kindness, loving kindness. Stay in the heart area and wish these feelings well. And we can check our energy, posture, alertness or dullness, and attend to this. Find the middle way. Sleepy, and we can sit straight, breathe deep, open the eyes, and continue. Restless, overcharged, anxious. Breathe deep and focus more intently on a smaller area in the body. If the mind is racing, feel the feet, wiggle the toes, bring the attention down to the ground beneath us. And then back to the heart, the center of the body. Yatha Bhuta. So we are simply seeing things as they are. Keep letting go, friends, as we sit. Keep letting go of anything other than this simple, embodied experience. And see how this simple, embodied experience is changing. Shifting sands, nothing solid here. Open to this reality. How impersonal, how easy it is to recognize not me, not mine here. Ever flowing, ever changing experience. Letting go into this reality. Keeping the attention in the body with the breath. We can just see, is there anything here that's me? Anything that's myself in this experience? And the place often where we can then investigate is this observing one, that which is observing, that which is meditating, and we can sort of turn the attention more deeply to this aspect of our experience. And see how it too is changing, insubstantial, shifting, moving and flowing. And we can cultivate anicca sanya, this perception, this understanding, this experience of change in the observer and in the observed. Indeed, everywhere, in everything, in every Dhamma, in every experience. Breath by breath. So we have just a few minutes to continue our meditation practice, to keep letting go, opening up, freeing up as we dive into this Dhamma here and now. So, friends, we can slowly and gently open into the space of community. Maybe have a little stretch. Take care of the body. The whole purpose of our meditation practice is, of course, to train the mind to relate to life in a skillful way. And indeed, it is the way of the Arahants. From my understanding of the Buddha's teaching, the Arahants also would meditate often. Why not? It is so peaceful, is it not, for the body and for the mind to stop and have silence around us, have space around us of no activity, and enjoy the peace and tranquility and contentment that can arise. And of course, if we're not Arahants, which is most of us, I guess, then we get the chance to see what it is that's preventing us from that experience, So to really take heart when we have a lot of agitation or aversion or doubt, or difficulties with our energy, too sleepy, too restless, all of these issues that can come up for us in our meditation are showing us exactly, precisely what's needed to move towards that perfect freedom from all suffering. So we get to examine, where is the suffering? What's left here? What needs to be worked with? And we know how to work with the hindrances. And so we inexorably move in the direction of Nibbana. And we can feel, this is very high, this is very inaccessible to me, but that is just another thought to be let go of and come back to the simple reality of this moment. So all this meditation that we do, so helpful, is the, in a way, encouragement for our everyday life. The relationship we have to that is so aligned for us over time, is it not, with our meditation practice? This is really what we want to cultivate, friends. Thank you for joining us for this meditation. Thank you for your meditation practice. And I'd like to take some time now. We've got 10 minutes to see if there's any questions or comments. Thank you, Ayaka China, for taking care of the kind of hosting thing.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Anumodana for your wonderful meditation that you've just led. I also want to note that we have Ayasopana here, and so we are lucky to have both of you here. If anyone has any questions or anything to discuss about this wonderful, inspiring topic in meditation, Anumodana for your leading.
Yes, don't hesitate, friends. We have Ayasopana, and she will answer your questions. And so take this opportunity. Or if anyone would like to also share experience, feel very free. We all benefit from hearing from one another.
You have some questions already? Yes, I see questions, actually 3 questions, Yvonne, and then Bhakti-Vedanta, and then Chintan.
Okay, Yvonne. Can't hear you at the moment, Yvonne.
Sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that lovely meditation. And it was very resonating to deal with the impermanence. And I was thinking of the breath, and it made me realize that impermanence is so part of every nanosecond of our lives. And I want to also say thank you to the Dhamma Tarini Monastery for giving us every Sunday this opportunity to be part of the Sangha, whatever we are. That physically will be very difficult, but here virtually we are able to be part of this Sangha. And for me, has been a very rich experience. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Yvonne. Cynthia.
First, I would like to thank you so much for such a lovely story and explanation, Ayaka-chan. I really enjoyed listening to that. And also, I appreciate very much the meditation and how to get rid of the extra energy through the feet. That was a great notation I made. And finally, what can I do to further help the bhikkhunis and the world to know about the fact that the bhikkhunis are not extinct? Because I meet people who are into Buddhism, and they say, even people in Cambodia, and they say, oh, I thought the bhikkhunis were extinct. So I let them know that they're not. But what else can I do to inform the world that there are indeed Theravada bhikkhunis alive and well today? Thank you.
Ayasopana, would you be willing to respond?
Well,
Thank you. I would want to express my gratitude and appreciation for Brahmavara to join us and to give the instruction, the meditation instruction this morning on this special occasion. The theme that was presented to us was challenging in terms of our awesome respect for the Arahants, and then the here and now of practicing meditation with whatever we have within us at this moment in time. Enlightenment is described by the Buddha in somewhat like indirect and mysterious ways for one who doesn't, one has not had the opening of the Dhamma eye, it's not easy to explain what we're aiming for. And yet we do know what we're aiming for, and we've got that kind of that North Star. So part of what the bhikkhunis do and what the bhikkhus and bhikkhus, what the ordained Sangha does, is encourage everybody to lift up your aspiration. Don't just aim for a more comfortable life or for less drama or something like that, but instead aim for the highest. And in terms of the way to, this is my idea, the way to make the existence of the Bhikkhuni Sangha be known about in the world is to understand and appreciate that the Bhikkhunis also are properly aiming for the highest. If you want us to do ceremonies, or if you want us to do other things that are not really the highest, maybe that doesn't help so much. But if you want the bhikkhunis to aim for the highest, to really obtain the greatest purification, so that the freedom from the defilements and the loving kindness and the mature kind of ethics, those are the qualities that we're trying to embody all the time. And if you see that, even that aspiration, and you support that, and you're thinking, how can I support for those bhikkhunis or anybody who wants to practice and aim for this noble path, that by itself is a tremendous encouragement.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Ayasubna. Amber.
Hello, Ayas. Thank you so much. I wanted to share appreciation for that guided meditation now and in your past meditations, your guidance. It's helped me more to connect with the breath. I've shared in the past that it's a lot easier for me to focus on the senses. It's very easy for me, but the breath, for some reason, I lose interest. For some reason, it's too simple for me. I don't know why. The senses they interest me more, but you bring me to connect more because of appreciation or excitement for the breath, the next breath, the changing breath, and we wouldn't have life without it. It's bringing us life. The heartbeat and the breath are, not solid, but they're consistent to anchor to, and we would not be alive without them. But something in your shares brings me interest that I don't usually have. And, moving moment to moment, that I forget that, and it comes back, especially with some hindrances of, maybe some caffeine or whatever it is. But it's just bringing me a little more appreciation for this exciting breath that gives us life. So I just want to give thanks. And to all the Ayahs, thank you.
Thank you so much, Amber, for your beautiful reflection. Maureen.
Maureen, we can't hear you. All right. Well,
Sorry, Maureen.
maybe we don't have Maureen. I saw Patipada's hand earlier. Would you still like to say something, Patipada?
Oh, thank you. I wanted to have you speak a little more about the process of attachment in the letting go. And the reason I would like to hear more about that is it's very easy to let go of things that are tangible, is my experience. But attachment to family, attachment to people, attachment to relationships is where my struggle lies. And so I wonder if more information can be shared about that process, please.
Thank you, Patipada. I'd like to say a few words, and I'd also like to then invite Ayasobana to comment, if that's okay, Ayasobana. What comes to my mind is that you're speaking, about very profound and strong bonds that we can experience, these kinds of attachments. And yet, when it comes to our meditation practice, we don't need to try and work with these things, rather just to be present and see what arises. And in this way, I notice myself, Patipada, that these things can come up from time to time, thoughts and feelings around family relationships. And when they arise at that time, there's the opportunity to see them clearly, to feel what this is like in the body, to see how things are changing, and to notice the impersonal quality right there. So in the experience, when it arises, this is our time. We can kind of, it's almost like gradually chip away at the mountain, we'll let go of one pebble at a time, and slowly but surely we ease our way towards freedom. So this is just my initial thought about your question, and thank you for it. But I'd like to invite Ayasobana, and I guess we'll conclude with this teaching from Ayasobana. If you have anything you could add, I'd be very grateful.
This reminds me of something that we discussed last week when we were speaking about seeing the pleasant in the unpleasant, seeing the unpleasant in the pleasant, and seeing both, and that the Arahant has, I should say that the one who's a trainee who's not yet an Arahant, when they have aversion or greed, they feel horrified by it and terrible, and the necessity to do some work to purify those states. But then the Arahant has like this complete freedom of being able to see the pleasant and the unpleasant, to see the unpleasant and the pleasant, and to see both. So in effect, I kind of attachment is so natural and necessary for ordinary humans, we wouldn't be able to have parents and children if we didn't have attachment. My belief in a certain kind of way is that the Arahant doesn't lose what they had before. It's just that their way of relating to it is completely different. And so everything that happens when your beloved relatives or you're interacting in some way with your dear relatives and all of the complications of being a person with relatives and dear ones and with a household, with a family life, all of those complications are in some kind of way, to be enlightened is not to be cut off from all that. You're completely present for everything about that. It's just that your way to relate to it is different, that you have a freedom in your way of relating to that. So I would think one would not throw away anything in life, including that we have a household, that we have relations, that we have dear ones, and that we have all of the other, like this bag of fluids and substances connected to a brain which is constantly concocting thoughts. We've got it all, but it's just a different relationship. So you're looking like there's the attachment is there with the ordinary mind, and also the freedom is there with your Bodhi mind, your enlightened mind.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Anumodama. So I think that can be our last question for today. And I'd like to really appreciate Ayya Sopana and Ayya Brahmavara for their teachings for us today. And I'd like to close with coming back to our dedication for today of our Patipati Puja. I feel like in a way this is an answer to Chintana's question of how can you support the bhikkhunis? What can you do for the bhikkhunis? Well, you can practice. You can feel inspired. If you're inspired by the bhikkhunis, let that infuse your life. Let that improve your life. Let that make you a holder of this lineage and this teaching, and share it on with others. That's the way that you can best sort of honor whatever you're receiving from us, and for us also to try our best to be inspired and live up to the examples that we have from the past, such as Anula Tissa Theri and Arhat Sangamita Theri, and all of them back to the Buddha. We can be inspired by how they themselves were inspired by the Buddha, how they practiced well, how they honored the Buddha with their own practice and with their own awakening. And we can follow that example. And all of us, the bhikkhunis today, and all of you listening here, and anyone who may meet you and feel inspired by your practice in the future, we can dedicate all of this goodness. It's in one way we're dedicating to those of the past, but in another way we're dedicating to ourselves and our own practice and our own realization, and towards those in the future. And it's all one part of one big flow. So to consider ourselves connected to that, to consider this practice that we've done today, this meditation, all the goodness of that, whatever goodness you found in yourselves during this meditation, if we can dedicate that towards our inspiring great Arahants from the past, and also towards ourselves and our own awakening, and also towards whoever may come after us. So I will chant just briefly in dedication, and then we can close. Idang no punyang asawakaya hotu. Idang no punyang magapalanyanasa hotu. Edang no punyang nibbanasapachayo hotu. So by our merits today, may we have the ending of the taints. By our merits today, may we know the fruits of the path. By our merits today, may they be conditioned for Nibbana.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So, Anumodana for everybody, and especially Ayasovana, Ayabrahmavara, and we'll see, at least some of us will reconvene in a few hours for the sutta study, also on this theme. So see you soon. Thank you all for joining today.
Thank you so much, Venerable.
Q&A.
Thank you, Venerable.